Hey guys, thanks for joining me. And if you like what you see, please subscribe.
Hello, peoples. Welcome to Sharp Ends. I'm going to do a disassembly of this Hectare by CJRB. It is kind of like a budget bug out, whereas the price is going to flash up right now, but whereas you would spend 300, 250, how much is a bug out these days? A lot of money for not premium materials. I don't think that bug outs are no longer made of what is today considered premium materials. I think they're still made with S30V, which is just plain silly. This is AR RPM 9, which is a powder. Basically, I've heard it described as a powder metallurgy CPM version of D2. Works really well. It's proprietary to CJRB, who makes the budget end knives of artisan cutlery. Yeah, I'm going to do a full review of this, but this is just going to be a disassembly. It comes in a lot of different handle scale material, so don't let the yellow throw you off. I wish now I'd gotten a different color. I did kind of like the yellow in the pictures, but it picks up dirt really well. You can see I've used this pretty well. It's been in a warehouse with me, lots of different things. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to do that. Now I'm going to do this disassembly in high speed. So what's going to happen here is in a minute here, I'm going to go to warp mode and it'll go really fast, and then I'll stop in the middle while it's disassembled. I'll show you the inside, some of my thoughts about it, and then I'll go to warp mode again and I'll put it back together again, and then I'll have my final thoughts on it. First off though, before I go to warp mode, I just want to say that I really love this bar lock. I love the way that it feels there is really, really nice. And actually, most of the time, the way that I open it is just with the bar lock and a flicking wrist action. And that's because the access to the hole here is not very good. They've put this finger choil area here right in the middle of it, and I can flick it open, but really bad design choice there. Having said that, for the price and everything that you're getting with this, this is a pretty good darn deal for an access bar lock. Yeah, it's pretty darn good deal. So, all right, we're gonna go to warp mode. Warp mode, engage. And we're back. This is really interesting. So the liner is very well machined out. And the peel ply G10 is pretty thin, but it's nice. It's got like this recess here for the mechanism for your for the Omega spring. Pretty nicely done. But so the pivot here is locking, but on one side, on the show scale side, it's basically thicker and rounder, and so it sits on top of the scale there, whereas on this other side, and I'm not going to take it all the way apart, it's recessed. And I believe what's going to happen is that if I pull in on this lock and then I push out with my spring bar tool, that the pivot will then come out. Or am I wrong? Do I really need to take it all the way out to get it out? Very interesting. Yeah, all right, so I guess I'm wrong. I thought for sure it was going to come out. Apparently, you have to disassemble the whole mechanism in order to get it open, and I don't like that. 9 times out of 10, when you're taking a bar lock apart, you don't want to take apart the assembly that actually holds the lock itself. It's almost like a separate entity. And also, the way this is done with the pillars here, is this coming loose or not? It is coming loose. Okay, I was about to complain about the fact that, yeah, I don't like doing this. I really, really don't. All right. Yeah, so that I just feel is super silly. I just feel it's super silly that you need to take the entire lock apart in order to get this off. So I'll need to take this off. All right, guys, I'm doing this just for you. If this was just me, I wouldn't do it. I would just try to clean it out as best I can. But for the love of the channel, I'm going to take off this Omega spring against my better judgment. And I hope I can keep this together well enough that I'm able to continue to that I'm able to give this knife away on my next Patreon giveaway. Oh, I see. Yeah, so now I see what's happening here. Yeah, okay. All right, I now think I understand. But why would you do that? I don't understand. That should be free. That should be free now. I don't understand why it isn't and why they've made it this way. It's very, very silly. And this Omega spring going through the hole. There we go. I didn't like how that worked either. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back in here. And I'm going to put the Omega spring back on, I hope. I'm trying to do this on camera. It's kind of hard to work under a camera. I guess I have to go ahead and take off this other side too, which I find really, really ridiculous. However, it's pillar construction, so is this pillar free spinning? No, it's not. Great. Awesome. I was about to scream and moan if that was the case. So we're going to take this other side apart and see if then, all right, and then now we have three different sides. So the pivot is T9, these back guys are T8, and then the clip is T6. So we have three types of hardware. I really don't like that, but on a budget knife, you know, that not totally unexpected. This pivot, this back pivot now is free spinning. Very silly. I really don't like that. I wonder if, well, yeah, that would cause a problem there. So I'm just going to move this back. See, what I don't understand is this should just pop out now, this pivot, but it's not. And now we've got a free spinning back pillar here, which is super annoying because I'm probably going to end up scratching it in with my pliers in order to get it out. Yeah, it's just free spinning. All right. And a lot of Loctite on there, but I think I got it. All right, so small pair of pliers. And there's that pivot. And now this should come up. Oh no, I've got to take the clip entirely off because it is screwed into, and that makes sense. It is screwed into it. It is a reverse clip. That's nice for lefties. The things I go through for you guys. Oh man, this has turned into a pain. I gotta tell you. Sorry for the moaning. This peel ply, by the way, isn't so aggressive that it hurts the pocket or anything like that. So now I've got this fully off. And so do you see these divots here? If I take this, the lock back, I can move it all the way back there and it rests there, which is pretty cool, right? A lot of bar locks have that feature built into it so that you don't have to fully disassemble it. But what's the point, I ask you, of of having to disassemble this? And I guess what I would have to do in order to fully disassemble this is that I assume that these studs go into a pillar in the middle, or one of them is a pillar and the other one is a screw, to undo this to get this fully out in order to get access to this. Or am I missing something? Am I doing something stupid? It seems so natural to me that I should be able to push this out and get it to go out. But it is not budging. Why isn't it budging? All right. I really, really do not want to take this apart any farther. It has very small washers in there. Plastic washer, plastic casing. I'm sure it's metal balls. That's what she said. Why I don't understand why that pivot wouldn't come out. Really does not make any sense that you would have to take the bar lock apart unless I am missing something or this is really stuck. I do not know. I'm going to take my little pry tool and see if I can pry it just a little bit and see what the hell is going on here. It's not moving at all when I do that. There is a little bit of gunk around this, as if it has been cemented in or something, which is very odd to me. Why would you do that to a pivot? Oh, I just pushed it from the side that I didn't think you were supposed to push it from, and now it's coming out. Maybe you didn't have to go through all that and take the other side off. Maybe you just needed to be more aggressive. So I put the flat part down here and I pushed it there, and then it got it started. Oof, all right, I got that out. So let's take a look at it. It looks like it's covered in, like they put so much thread lock on it, on the screws themselves. Let's see if I can confirm this. Yeah, lots of thread lock on here that it squeezed out, and then in the manufacturing, it got all over the pivot too. And that bonded with the scales, the inserts, and then Loctite there too. So as far as like how the bar lock looks, oh, and we've got inset liners, which is pretty nice. Action on it is great. And it looks like I've got even some glitter in there because I was working on the show with a lot of glitter. So it's good that I finally got it out and I can get that glitter out and clean it all off. That is fine. The liners are, the bearings are running on the inside here. And you probably can't see it, but it's running on PVD coating and that's starting to rub off, which is natural. So I'm going to clean this all up. I'm also going to go ahead and clean up my scales, which are dirty from use. Get them a little bit more yellow. And then I'm going to put it all back together. And then at the end, I'll have some final thoughts on this. All right. Engage warp speed. And we're back. All right, so here are my thoughts on how this is built. And I'll do a full review later in the week. But just on how it's built, other than the absurd amount of, and I'm just adjusting the Loctite, the pivot right now, other than the absurd amount of Loctite in the pivot that caused the pivot to freeze up to the frame, absolutely fine. Other knock that I would have about it is that the lockup is solid now, and bar locks are usually extraordinarily easy to center, although this one's a little bit off center now. Bar locks are usually extraordinarily easy to so here it is. It's not quite centered. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of paper in here on this side, and that piece of paper then is going to force it over, and I'm going to loosen some of the backspacer nuts and stuff like that, and then tighten it back down so that it's therefore forced over to the side that I need. Other than the Loctite and the 3 different kinds of hardware, which is excusable in this price range, I think it's pretty darn good. I don't like that little notch here in the hole, but then again, I usually open it with the flicker, with the bar lock. Bar lock is really nicely well rounded. The G10 isn't too aggressive. In fact, I think it's pretty sweet. Yeah, overall, I am impressed. So very cool. Just going to loosen these now with that piece of paper in there. And I'm going to loosen up the pivot just a skosh as well. You know, the T9, the T8, I don't know, maybe it's just 2 different kinds of hardware. The T9 does fit in the pivot, but it doesn't fit in the back barrel spacers, but it does fit in the other ones. All right, so that's forced over now. Now I'm going to lock the pivot down very gently, and then I'm going to do the backs. And I'm going to do this guy back here in the lot. This clip also doubles as barrel spacer lock. All right, it's all tight now. So let's take this out. Still ever so slightly favoring the clip side. Lockup is good. As far as a budget bug out goes, I think I'm going to approve. All right, so that was my disassembly and maintenance video. Later in a couple of days, my full review of this knife will come out. Thanks so much for joining me. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. That really helps out the channel as well. And you can go to down below and follow the links to any of the stuff that I have listed. Anything that's linked to Amazon does help out the channel if you buy it. Very inexpensive tools and other things. You can also follow the link to become a Patreon member and support me for $3 a month. And of course, you'll be entered to win a knife of the month. This is going to be coming up as one of those giveaways now that I'm done reviewing it. And of course, you just saw that I maintained it, oiled it nicely for you, and I'm going to strop it up, be nice and sharp. So join Patreon. It really helped me out. Thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you next time on Sharp Ends. Bye-bye now.